Hi, everyone. Welcome to our session. I'm going to chat a little bit about the upcoming STEM month and hopefully we'll help each other get a jump start on planning some sessions. I am going to start us out just by walking through some of the resources that we're providing. And then Chris Dorman is going to share some awesome stuff with you. And then we'll just have a chance to ask questions, chat with each other, share ideas. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen, hopefully. Sweet. Okay. And then make people big again. So as we go along, feel free to ask questions. We're fine if you want to unmute and ask, or you can pop stuff in the chat and try to pay attention to that as we go along. So this first document is the general welcome letter you get when signing up. It does have links to sort of everything else we've provided. So if you want to, you can work straight off this document and not get into the Google folders. So this is general information. Welcome. This links to the resources that we're going to look at next. There's this list of trainings, of which this is the first, that we'll be providing through September and October. And then Chris had some fun ideas that she shared down here. And then there are more things. Particularly, there is an email list that we're starting, STEM related. So we'll be sharing more things there as we go along. We've got a couple of other things in the pipeline that we're hoping they come together, and we'll share those there first. But then after STEM month, we're going to send monthly emails. Not sure about the content yet, but ideas, resources, things like that to sort of keep us all in that STEMmy mindset. Okay, here is this big page of links. There's a lot, so I'm just going to highlight a few things as we go through, but you could probably spend hours tooling through all of this stuff. Don't do that. I don't recommend that. Take a couple of spots and start there. So the first one, Chris and I have a couple Pinterest boards, but this one in particular is for STEM books. If you want to look at doing a story time or just an activity where you also read a book. This is here. It's not huge yet, but these Pinterest boards are constantly being updated, so you can always check back for new ideas. It also includes lists to these curated book lists from, this is a national, I forget what STEMmy is what it's called, but it's early literacy and STEM combined. And so they have these curated lists of books for kids. And so they've theoretically given them all the thumbs up that they're good. Baby loves Quarks, it'll be a story time hit. And then if you use Facebook, there's a STEM in Libraries group. It looks like a lot of great resources. I don't have an account, so I can't dig deeper. But just looking at what you can see here off the bat, looks like you could find some good stuff digging through the old posts there. This is one of the resources that's in that list for program ideas. It's a site that I really like, Little Bins for Little Hands. And it has a ton of ideas. I will say, when I say Little Bins, Little Hands, I'm thinking like preschoolers. This is a little older than that, what you'll see once you start to look through, but definitely like elementary age. And there are probably some that you could age down to preschool. But so a lot to look through there. Another one of them is the California Academy of Sciences. They've created all these kits around STEM stuff. It's not a physical kit, but it's like a list of resources kit. And it's all free, that everything can be downloaded and printed. And I just picked dinosaurs because obviously dinosaurs. And you can like download all the activities, but it just walks you through. And there are like different days and things. So you could do a series, or you can pick and choose your favorite things from all of the days. And oh, that's so cute. And there are a ton to choose from there as well. And of course, we cannot forget our own kits that are physical kits that are available all the time here on our website. Hopefully you saw we just added the solar science ones. So those will be really fun to play with over the next year. So Chris and I decided we wanted to do digital badges for y'all. So the badges are in the art folder. This document here is some ideas of what you could do with the badges if you wanted to connect them to programs, or you can do whatever you want with them. You can print them out and turn them into buttons or stickers, or just keep them digital as things that they can earn, or for bingo board or anything like that. And so these are all available to you in the folder, and then these attached are some program ideas that make sense to pair with them. So we also have a small but social media toolkit for you to use. You can use all the art, obviously, for all of that, but we made some specific graphics here that are ready to go for the different services. I suppose I should change the Twitter one to X now. So I tried to make them fairly generic here so that and leave space. So if you want to add your library's branding, name, whatever to it, you can totally do that. And you can use them for however you would like. The shareables section is a couple of new things, but for the most part, things that we started or sort of already had. Some of them are from the Take and Makes section that we keep on the website. Some things that really worked in with the STEM theme. There's a couple of things that I've created in partnership with the Gulf of Maine Research Institute and the grant we're doing with them around STEM and climate science. And then especially for this, I created this STEM bingo challenge, which was really fun. And it has suggestions and stuff so there's a PDF if you want to just print this out. But there's also here it's a PNG. So if you want to take that again, put your library information on it or anything. I'm also happy to share sort of that Canva file with you if you want to change some of the activities or anything like that. You just let me know. And that is the last thing that I am sharing, and that definitely did not. Whoops, nope. I don't want to do share. Stop share. Okay. Any questions about that before Chris takes over? Okay. Yours, Chris.
Well, that's not fair. I wanted questions. Gosh, guys, come on. So as always, I am here for all of your questions, and I may or may not do the answer, but if I don't know the answer, I'll find it, or we can work together to find it. The big thing that I want to remind everyone, and you've probably heard me say it before, is just because we're saying STEM, it doesn't have to be the super high level thinking. Think of all the fun science that you did in Scouts, if you were able to do Scouts or any of those type of organizations. Like, you don't have to be up here in order to teach anyone basic, critical thinking skills. If I say computational thinking, I immediately get like faces shutting down. Computational thinking is reading a recipe and understanding that you can't find your 1 cup measurement, so how many half cups do I have to put in to make the correct cup size? Like, that's STEM. Making Play-Doh, guys, don't make it hard on yourselves. You've been doing this for decades. Most of the stuff that you're already doing is STEM. You just don't realize it. And that's when you're like, Chris, I don't know how to do STEM. And then I look at your story times, and my reply is, you're already doing it. So stop. You're already doing it, and you're all doing a wonderful job of it. If you have specific questions, by all means, please let me know. If there's something that any of your students or patrons are very, very interested in, and you're like, I don't know if I can do a program, like, let me know. I'll help you out. I'll give you resources. We can talk through stuff. I promise. You can do it. I'm just putting a target on my email, girl. So I do have like one or two links that I love to look at. One, if you don't know what the Exploratorium is in San Francisco, all I have to say is if you ever get into San Francisco, please go to the Exploratorium. I was the second person in the door, and the security officer kindly escorted me out at the end of the day because it was closing. I didn't do anything bad. I didn't get kicked out. But it is hands-on. It is engagement and learning. And they also have a Tinker Studio where not only can you see people in the process of creating new exhibits and just tinkering to see if they can get stuff to work, but there's an entire what they call the tinkering lab where they just lay out things that they're like, does this work? Does this not work? And you can just play with it. Just play and have fun and enjoy being a kid again. Yes, there were actual kids in there, but I also had a good time. They also have a special spot just for educators and librarians, and you can choose from what would be a full program or little snippets. If you yourself are nervous about doing a program for something, there is a wonderful podcast. It's called Ologies with Allie Ward. I'm going to make Cara look all of these up. But all you have to do is ologies, and they do something called smologies, and that's basically swear-free, dialed down versions of almost anything you can think of. I know more about sea turtles than I feel like the normal human being should know about sea turtles, and some of them I can't get out of my brain now. But it's animals, it's algae, it's they did an amazing one on diabetes and type 1, and they actually talked to an individual who actually became, oh, what's the actual word if you're studying, it starts with an E, I think. People who study type 1, it's endocrine system. He actually has type 1, and he's had it since he was a kid, and so he became an endocrinologist, and he answered all of these crazy questions and talked about what's coming up in the future for diabetics, and how they're actually right now, for all intents and purposes, have a mechanical working pancreas, which are those little like diodes that you see. They're actually working on one. They didn't tell me, they said in the podcast, because I would love to personally know Allie Ward because she seems amazing. But it's just something that they're going to slip under the skin, and it just stays there for like 6 months. There's no patches. It just registers, and like every now and then, I guess there's a pump. Like, I didn't get to see one because it was a podcast. Like, it's audio only. So those are the two big ones that I wanted to share with you. Obviously, there's something that's happening in April. You all should be getting ready. Do I have to say it out loud? I don't want to jinx myself. So if you don't know, it happens about every 65-ish years. On April 8th, 2024, Maine is getting a total eclipse. So if anybody remembers what happened in 2017, we're going to be okay. We're going to get through it. If you don't have any glasses, please buy some now, because I did not get a lot this year, and I am sorry. It does go over most of like no man's land, unfortunately. So for totality, it's going to be a little weird, and most of us have to drive. Well, let's put it this way. Holton has canceled school. Holton has canceled school. It's either Holton or Presque Isle, but Holton is expecting anywhere from 40,000 to 80,000 people. Like they're basically, if anyone is old enough to remember the Fish concert at Limestone, they're basically planning that, but bigger. There are no more porta potties available for that weekend because Aroostook County has taken them all. They have viewing stations. Like it's going to be a big thing. And for those people who aren't in the direct totality, we're still going to get, I mean, even if you're just a little outside of it, you're still going to get 90% coverage. So definitely plan on making some pinhole cameras, plan on coming to the eclipse sessions or maybe watching the recordings because I'm going to go over all of this stuff again, but in much more detail, especially on how you can talk to littles about the eclipse because it is happening in the middle of the afternoon. Like it starts at like 3:28, it hits the Maine border with New Hampshire. And hopefully it's going to be a beautiful and sunny, not cloudy day. And even if it is overcast, it's still going to get dark. The animals are still going to go completely quiet because they're going to figure out what is going on. It's still going to be an experience. The temperature will drop. Like it's still going to be amazing. But you know, when you're 3 and all of a sudden in the middle of the afternoon, it looks like it's time to go to bed, it could be scary. We're going to talk about ways to, you know, make it less scary and make it exciting. Because while some of those littles may get to see 2 total eclipses in their lifetime, I am probably not going to be around for the next one. And I do know the date, but it's completely left my brain. And I don't want to give you like a random one that's completely wrong. I want to say it's like 65 or 67. So like no, I probably won't be around. Does anybody have any questions or things that they want to try or things they need to know more about or things they may want to have us incorporate or add to STEM month?
You want to sit and think for a minute too. I want to just highlight a couple of the trainings we're doing. The introduction to STEM facilitation is going to talk pretty in depth about how it's not as difficult as we might fear to do STEM programming and to lead with kids. And I know it's really hard to get out for like a whole day. I know. But if you can talk your bosses into it, it's not going to cost you any money. You get lunch, we're reimbursing travel, and you're taking home a whole kit that is Chris is trying to show, but your camera has the blur on. So you get a whole kit, a weather kit that you can use to do programs at your library immediately. So we're really excited about it, and we hope some of you will be able to attend. Does anyone already have ideas what you're going to work on? Is anyone just thoroughly confused and don't know what to do? Chris, you can't be confused.
There are a few other things that as soon as Kara checks my grammar, will probably go out officially because I don't know how to use commas and I'm sorry. We have a Maple SERP curriculum that's going to come out. And if you've never interacted with something called a ThingLink, it's basically a 360 tour that you can control with information and blurbs. And it's a tour of my family's sugar bush and the very first, well, pictures from the very first year we did our sugar shack. And it's how trees make the sap that we then steal and boil down to make syrup. And it's so good. We also have a full curriculum with ideas and things to do around maple syrup because I feel like Maple Sunday is a thing in this state and in Vermont. Also, a lot of families just over quarantines and everybody was like, oh, we made some just in our front yard because we were bored. So it's a really cool generational thing. And then after the eclipse, because I'm trying not to give too much, we are going to be pushing out stuff about forest and forest health and talking about trees. We're working with GMI. They're going to be kits available. please take those kits, because I had to spend hours cutting and sanding tiny logs into little wood cookies that look neat. So please take my wood cookies. But it's phenomenal, and you can use it whether you have a forest right outside your library, or if you're urban and you only have that one tree in front of the library, you can still do it, because it talks about invasive species. There's plant identification. There's a great craft where you count the rings on the tree to see the age, and then you bead based on the rings. Like, it's so cool. We've done it a couple times with some test groups with students, and the way they've used the data that they've collected is just cool stuff we never would have thought of. And again, if you do or are lucky enough to have a bunch of trees around, have the kids go out, look at the trees, see if they can identify the trees. Like, we live in Maine. We are the most heavily forested state. We have trees and they're not all just pine. That was one. I think that's it. I'm sure I'm missing something. There's so much stuff going on. So much stuff. Yeah. I'll think of it all after I get off the call.
We know where to find you. Is there anything that would be helpful for you all that we have not yet provided?
Is there anything that you really would like to try, or would like to have a kit made from, or are just like, I think I can do it, but I'm a little nervous?
Are you all just trying to get through the rest of your sleepy Friday afternoon? See, okay, you're awake. That's good.
Don't eat that.
Well, we don't, I mean, we can end super early. Oh, Jennifer, yes.
I will talk. I am at the D.A. Hurd Library, and I just finished a very long summer of STEM programming. We did a program per week throughout the summer. And then last week we finished up with a science expo. I will second the notion that it doesn't have to be big or flashy to get kids involved and excited. We did some things like gravity painting with colored bubbles. I filled eggs with Play-Doh and dropped them in the sand to show how mass affects force. So little things paired with a good book went a long way.
That's awesome. I'm so glad you did that, and thanks for sharing. If you used any helpful resources that you want to share with everyone, that would be fantastic.
There was one on your list that is really super, and I'm totally blanking on the name, but it was a really good resource.
That's good. I'm glad to know it's already on our list.
I think it was the Show Me Librarian or something, I think, something like that. But it was really good.
Yeah, we don't have to recreate the wheel. Like, people are doing so much stuff out there. We can just copy. Julie, yeah, just started thinking about October, totally. So as you go along, if you have any questions, please reach out. We try to balance like giving enough lead time for those who do have to plan like several months in advance versus not wanting to overwhelm you all finishing up summer reading. So and yeah, go ahead, Brooke.
Sure. I was gonna say last year I started a new story time during the school year called Junior Engineers, and I did something STEM based each story time, and I'm doing it again this year, and I survived it. And I did use a lot from Little Ben's Little Hands and kind of adjusted it, and sometimes just the littlest stuff, sometimes just baking soda or vinegar. The kids love it, you know. And also, I want to say, Chris, my glasses arrived yesterday for our library, so yeah. But yeah, I just want to, it was as scared as I was, I did it.
Awesome. So proud of you, Brooke. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. And our idea, the idea of the whole month is not like, we don't expect you to do a ton of extra programming that you wouldn't normally do. Just sort of want to start thinking about ways to include it. There are a lot of ways that you all can include it in the programming you're already doing. And especially when you're talking with kiddos, just sort of starting to get that vocab out there, talking about STEM and what is it, and things like that. And it's helpful for the parents of the kiddos too, because that's stuff that they're most likely not thinking about. So don't stress out trying to plan for anything, please.
Honestly, put a little paint in a baggie with a piece of paper. So much fun. So much fun. And then walk on it with your socks.
Oh, like, what do you do with the bag?
Well, I put peanut butter on the baggie and then I give it to my mom and say, look, your grand dog made art. Because I never know what to get her. And I don't have kids, so I can't compete with my sister. I've accepted it. Also, if you're thinking about October programming, Spooky Science is great and it's a lot of fun. The big thing right now, and if you do it for the teenagers, they'll probably freak out because on TikTok, everyone is making crystals. It's hot water, and then it's just hot water, and then you put some borax in it, and then you just let the thing set, and the borax, because it is a crystalline structure, just creates crystals. It's all over my science feed and it's ridiculous, and they all think it's the coolest thing ever. And to talk about crystals sounds hard, but it really just, it's like maple sugar, actually. See, everything comes back to maple for me. It's a very, very easy program, and you can just give them cups with either like a straw. It's the same process as actually making rock candy, but they can put like a little spider in and then say, take this home, and then tomorrow take it out. And if everything has gone right, and I haven't had this fail yet. Wait, there we go. I haven't had this fail yet, is you'll have a couple crystals of borax, and despite the slime scare of whenever that was about don't use borax. Borax is just mini crushed up fossilized seashells. It tastes bad, so they probably won't eat it. And no, you're not going to get chemical burns on your hands like we use it in laundry. The girl who did get chemical burns on her hands because she was dirty and there was some chemical reaction, whatever was on her hands. And she was making slime like 24/7, so like moisturize.
So this is a good time to add, I tried doing the borax crystal thing way back in the day and failed. But so don't be scared of experiments or anything not working the way it's supposed to or failing. That's when you turn to a conversation about how science works and the scientific method and how many times you have to try different ways of doing things before we figure out a way that works. And obviously the kids won't be as excited, but you know, they can tell them to take it home and try it at home and come back and tell you if they were able to make it happen and what they did. And learning alongside the kids is fantastic. And also they need to learn that not being perfect is okay and failing is okay, and you just keep on going.
Like elephant toothpaste, because apparently Kara can't make borax work, and I think I'm going on 5 times. I can't make it work. Don't know what I do wrong. I don't know if I can't do elephant toothpaste. I've tried. I can't make it work.
That is a good one if you wanted to make a splashy start. Well,
but don't do it inside.
you're really popular.
Get a tarp. Many a library has stains on their ceiling from elephant toothpaste. Anyone else have any ideas or possible programming or something that's happening in your community? And you're like, how can I, tap into that? It's definitely a rainy Friday after a very long summer, and we realize that.
Right.
Like we get it. We were just trying to get more ideas so that hopefully we can get programming that's more centered to what you and your communities are interested in. So as always, we're going to be here, and if, like me, as soon as we hit leave, we're going to be like, oh, I should have talked about all of these things, or I really want to know about these things. Like, please contact us, let us know.
Yeah, and as you're going through whatever you decide to do, or the month, and things come up that you realize would have been awesome or were unnecessary or anything, please jot those down and let us know at the end. Because we do hope that this will continue to be an annual thing. And so we want to sort of supply the best materials that we can for you all.
Everyone knows October is the best month of the year.
It was really hard to find a month, and I couldn't, that didn't already have a ton of like library and book related stuff in it. But Chris has her face.
Yeah. Engineering challenge. Have the bigs create a haunted house for the littles.
Oh gosh.
Not a scary one.
I was just thinking that sounds like a big program.
No.
If you want to hear more
me.
about that, Chris's email is in the chat.
I really like Halloween, if anyone didn't catch that. I have a 12-foot skeleton named Earl who celebrates all the random holidays.
Go ahead, Jennifer. Jump on in.
I've got to stop laughing first.
Oh, wait, you want more? National Bread Day was awesome until it got really windy, and then the bread acted like a parachute around his head. It's the middle of a storm, and I'm out there trying to take a giant cardboard slice of bread off a 12-foot skeleton. This is my life, Jen.
Love it.
Imagine
I may or may
to be your neighbor.
My neighbor loves it.
I don't have a 12-foot skeleton, but I do have a skeleton that lives in our hallway that we dress up for various occasions. So, but back to the question, and this is pre-October. I am trying to come up with some simple STEM ideas that might engage YA for Dot Day.
But this is going to sound silly. You only need one team to do it, and then they're all going to be like, oh, I want to do it. You know those bingo daubers that make circles?
Yeah.
So it's basically, it's like perler beads, or perler beads are circles, so you can do perler beads. Or you can have an art contest, give them a circle and see what they create, and have them, post it on the wall, and you can have them vote on it about all the things that you can do with a dot. Or have toilet paper rolls and paper towel rolls, because I love those. You can make stamps out of them. You can try and build and create with those dots. Like, I could go on. There are lots of things you can do. Again, don't overthink it. Don't be like, oh, it has to be with dots. Well, dots are just circles, and you can do a lot of stuff with circles. Balls are circles. Do a marble run. Like, don't overthink it. And I'm one of those people that can take the littlest thread and be like, yep, we're going to STEMify this. So find something that you're excited about and do it, and then your excitement will carry over to the students almost always. Like don't make it harder for you. Because it's a rainy Friday and we've all survived summer reading. Like, don't make it harder for you.
Fair enough. Thank you.
You're welcome. Also, dot day is so much fun.
I want to cut off your think time, but if our group is all set, we can wrap it up. Well, thanks for joining. This will be posted. You probably won't need to watch it again, but if you hear of anyone who wishes they could have, let them know. Well, we're gonna upload it to our YouTube channel, but we'll post the link in that resources page that lists all the trainings, so it'll be there for folks. And we are here, minus a few weeks when we're both leaving the country, but we'll be here for questions anytime.
We may be leaving the country back to back. Sorry.